It's the Sunday Chronicle on Stacks 92.1. It's the Sunday Chronicle. We gon' give the news and keep you up to date. From crimes to the politics, you gon' know what's up around your way. We give 2 thumbs up to everyone out here doing their thing. We gon' show mad love to all the ones working hard in communities. It's the Sunday Chronicle.
Good morning and welcome to the Sunday Chronicle. I'm your host, Giannis Jackson, coming to you from Stacks 92.1 FM. This is the platform for the community because community knows what community needs. I'd like to thank my listeners for being here again on another Sunday morning or catching me via podcast. Thank you for your support and keeping us going. It's actually been a year since we've been here with Stacks and been developing this relationship, so I'm very excited about that. It's a very big milestone. This is episode 32. And for episode 32, I would like to introduce my dear friend, Miss Morgan Elizabeth Cole. Period. And we'll tell you more about the period at the end later. But with that being said, I'd like to hand that over to my very special guest so she can introduce herself and tell you all a little bit about what she does and why she has such a love for the community. Morgan, thank you so much for being here today. I am so happy that you took the time out in your busy schedule to be here with little old me. Thank you.
Thank you, Giannis. Yes, so my name is Morgan Elizabeth Cole, which you know, and I am a mom of 3. I live in Meridian Township with my husband, and then I have been with the court system, Ingham County court system, for at least, well, I guess you could go back to law school and say I started in the 08 maybe, but I've been employed by Ingham County since 2013. Prior to that, I worked in D.C., doing regulation work for a corporate or a large law firm, doing also corporate matters. And then we moved back to Michigan because I met my husband in law school, so he's originally from Michigan.
Okay, so you found your boo doing what it is you're passionate about.
I did.
All right.
But it's a fun story about how. He is left-handed, and I am right-handed. And we were in torts class, and his arm kept hitting mine and messing up my notes. So I put paper clips down, and I said, "Don't cross this line." And sure enough, here we are.
Oh, and he fell in love with that, didn't he? He liked that structure.
Yes. So while at Ingham County, I've worked for Judge Aquilina as a law clerk. Back then, she was also a court of claims judge in addition to a circuit court judge. After leaving Judge Aquilina, I was a friend of the court. I think they're called facilitators now, but it used to be conciliator back in the day.
Okay.
Which is essentially the first level of determination for custody, parenting time, etc. when someone comes to the court and there's children involved, etc. So you make the initial determination. Very rewarding job by far. Because I'm no different than anyone who had ever come before me. I'm a parent. I have good days. I have bad days. But the reality of it is you have to be at a very interesting impasse to come before a stranger and say, "Hey, I don't know you from Adam,
right,
but decide the rights of my children."
Right. And I know that has to be a very difficult position to be in, because it's not about, getting somebody to side with you necessarily. It's about the best interest of children. And so I just know that that must have been very difficult. But you are here. You've had several positions within Ingham County as far as from a legal standpoint, which I believe is wonderful. I mean, and I hear a little birdie told me that somebody in this room, not me, is running for or working for justice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They have a family and they're here because they are for families, right? You're for families.
I'm for families and I'm for children. At the end of the day, being a court employee, period, is about public service. And I view being a judge as public service.
Yes.
And that's always been ingrained in me from my father, who was a captain in the Army,
Nice.
to ultimately getting to a point where I had lost the woman I loved the most, my mother, to addiction, and seeing the different agencies and helpful individuals and organizations to help those who hopefully don't have to go down that path and don't have to be a child of that.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing this. I mean, Morgan, you have a job that's very demanding, you know, and not only one job, but two jobs, because you're a mom and a wife, so that's 3 jobs, and now you're running for office. And so I want to take my hat off to you, my virtual hat, and say thank you, because you have all these things going on. And I have you here because in the midst of this, you find the time, you make the time and have the strength to run a countywide, not citywide, but countywide campaign. So, I mean, how do you get through that? How do you get up every day when you have to, you know, I'm not saying you have to peel yourself off the bed, but what keeps you going?
So first, my current job as probate registrar and court administrator has been very rewarding. We were deemed essential.
And that's where we met, right?
It is where we met.
Yes.
And serving those vulnerable individuals in our community. We deal with mental health, minor guardianship. So from a work standpoint, there's always someone who has a greater need than my need to rest, essentially. And then, you know, it's important that I show my kids,
Right.
you know, for every success, there's going to be 50 failures, but it's how you handle those. And you get up and you start a new day and you try your best. Sometimes it's not as high as you want, but
Right.
I have to do that. And you know, there was one person a long time ago that said, "Oh, you know, you can't possibly run for judge and have 3 children." And I said, "Okay, watch me."
Right. That'll get you going, won't it, when people do that stuff?
Yes.
When they do that, yeah. And I wanted to say, you know, I have really, I mean, it's an honor to know you, because I was able to see, let's say, the law or the justice system just from a softer perspective that I didn't know really existed. Because I know, and this is what judges have told me, it's not like the job to necessarily work for the people, but uphold the law, right? And with that being said, what do you think you'll tell yourself to make sure, you know, you're in this seat? Say, let's just say, let's go hypothetically, and you're in this seat, you know, or for real, you know, but you're in this seat. And how do you separate that? How do you say, well, this person, you know, this decision lies in my hands, but at the same time, I know this is right, this is justice, this is the law. Like, how would you move forward with such a difficult decision? So
yes, as being a judge, you should stay in your lane, meaning you're a branch of government. You have to uphold the law. I'm not a legislator. I wouldn't, you know, have that ability or executive powers, but simply to uphold the law. But more importantly, to the application of the law is the finding of facts. So it's those factual determinations that really matter when it comes to applying the law as written. And so an example I say that everyone probably could relate to is that there was someone who stole food, right? Why did they do that? You could either just say they're a kleptomaniac or they like to be a shoplifter.
Right.
But what if they have 3 kids at home?
Right. They might
who are
be starving. Yeah.
And so those are the facts that are pivotal. And it's having compassion, humility, and perception to make those factual determinations while always upholding, you know, the law and remaining fair and impartial. But it's the factual determinations, I think, that are paramount, and you have to have that ability to be open to every possibility, hear the different possibilities. Whether you find them credible or not, that's a different story. But it's paramount to do that.
Well, I'm happy to be here. this seat that you're running for, this is due to the impending retirement of Judge Clinton Kennedy III, correct?
Yes,
And he was on the show a couple weeks ago.
He is a wonderful example of a judge. He's met so many different milestones and had so many different hiccups in life, and still continue to push forward and do so with grace and be humble about it. He has endorsed me for this race, and I think there's nothing more that can speak to a candidate than the person who is retiring, indicating this is who I think is the best suited.
How do you feel? Because this is like, and I'm looking at you, and I'm so proud because I'm a woman, right? And I've seen so many women, people of color, I've seen them take these positions, and it really makes me proud. And just to run for these positions, how does it make you feel? Because it gives me like tingles.
It's very exciting, but also it's been very eye-opening because there are so many wonderful candidates out there, and simply because of funding, they're not able to really come forward. And I can tell you that the majority of campaigns are, unless it's like a huge, huge race, they're probably over 60% funded personally. And so we still have a ways to go, and we need to make it so that there are more people who have the ability to run for office, because the greatest thing in democracy is for the voters to have a choice. As soon as you start stripping that away because of costs, et cetera, accessibility,
it changes so much.
It does.
Right?
And for women, people of color, we're doing better. But let's do great.
Yes, we have the ability to do great things. And with that being said, I want to remind my listeners that you're listening to the Sunday Chronicle. I'm your host, Giannis Jackson, coming to you from Stax 92.1 FM. This is a platform for community because community knows what community needs. We'll be right back after this break.
I'm the type to dance to her very own beat. Ask me where I am, probably somewhere singing. Around my way, they call me Jingle Queen, because I sing about everything. Like just do it Nike, have it your way, Burger King. Snap, crackle, pop, go Rice Krispies. Maybe it's me. You should call me the Jingle Queen when you're in need of dope melodies. You should call the Jingle Queen when you're in need. You should call me the Jingle Queen. Oh, you should call the Jingle Queen.
www.laureypen.com. That's LAUREPEN.com.
And welcome back to the Sunday Chronicle. I am your host, Giannis Jackson, coming to you from Stax 92.1 FM. This is the platform for the community because community knows what community needs. Today, my special guest and sponsor is Miss Morgan Elizabeth Cole. And, well, should I say the committee or should I say...
the committee.
Yes, okay, so the committee for... Morgan Cole for 30th Circuit Court Judge. That is our sponsor for today. So we thank you, committee. Thank you for this experience and talking with our listeners about not just running for office, because that's not why I have you on here. I have you on here because you're very active in the community. This is not your first run. I mean, that takes a lot to run twice for a county seat.
It absolutely does.
And so I'm amazed, and I have to give you a round of applause. Everybody who's listening, I did a round of applause. And so thank you for that. Thank you for your service. This is, it's not easy, and I know it's not easy being a candidate. It can be very thankless. People can, just verbally say things to, that make you feel some type of way for a seat there are very specific rules in place when you run for a judicial seat, correct?
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
And the minimum is you have to have 5 years of being a practicing attorney, and then being in good standing with the bar to do that. And then there's all these additional rules that you have to comply with. But running 2 races in 2 years or less is a lot. But again, it was important for me to show my girls and other people that you can lose and be in second place with 7 people last time.
Yes, a lot.
and still get up and try again.
Yes. And I admire that, and I admire you setting such a wonderful example for young ladies, and not just young ladies, but just people in general, running a nice, clean campaign and just being approachable and down to earth, because I think that will help motivate people to just go for what they want,
Absolutely. But I have to say that negative campaigning is not my style and never will be my style. I'm an attorney. I'm licensed in the state bar, and I work with the local bench and attorneys. And I see that concept of being a negative campaign as really disrespectful to the people running, disrespectful to the people who are voting. So I understand what you're saying, but
yes.
It's just not me.
Well, I'm glad that and you've kept your hands clean and no cheap shots, and so I'm glad to see that, and so I just want to encourage you, and I want to congratulate everyone who has decided to run for a seat, period, because it takes a lot to become a target, and I'm just going to say that it's not an easy thing to run for office because it's a certain level of exposure and transparency you have to have. Has it been like some experiences that kind of shook you up either now or before when you ran for office?
Certainly. And it does make you a target, and to some extent even your family. But again, if you handle it with grace, the fact of the matter is there's just going to be people who don't like you for whatever reason, or aren't going to vote for you for whatever reason, and that is okay.
Right.
But it does take courage to do it. But that's okay.
How's it changed you? Like from, let's say, Morgan 5 years ago to now, the Morgan that has completed or, in the process of completing a second run for a huge county seat, like what's changed? Well, certainly having 3 kids has changed, but the meeting of so many different people in our community who have so many positive and awesome contributions to give, or that they're already giving, has been amazing. And the fact of the matter is, there could be a day that I need you with my kids because my daughter, you're a coach or whatever, and I say, she's not listening, she's being rude and disrespectful at home, can you help me? And that's the reality of what this is. I am no different from all those other parents rushing to get in the carpool line, forgetting the folder here and there. I mean, it's just, but meeting everybody in our community and what they have to give and what they have to say is amazing. Well, I'm glad that you have answered the call, right? You've answered the call. This is a very, it's a tall order. And so I commend you for doing that. You've been out on the doors. I've seen you. I've seen your signs. I've seen the big signs. I said, she's got the big one out now. She's bringing out the big guns. And I pounded those all in myself. Did you? And put up the zip ties myself. And you have been everywhere. You remember that song, I've been everywhere? Yeah. I've seen you everywhere. Well, thank you. I really have tried. Ingham County has a great and diverse group of residents. Yeah. And so getting to the different areas and towns is very important to me. What are you hearing at the doors? Well, they're so appreciative
to, have someone come to their door and introduce themselves. There's still some people who have hesitations because of COVID. And so it's you got to balance that out. But I'm hearing at the doors that, they really love that there's a woman who has kids.
Yeah.
I think this year, because of everything that is going on, is highly likely to have a huge female voter turnout.
Yes.
But I'm just personal. I'm not anybody else but me. And so I talk about real life decisions and, of course, what I would do on the bench when it comes to the application of the law and findings of fact. But my goal is just to everyone's on the same platform and on the same playing field.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm glad that, you could step forward and say, hey, I want to do more, right?
Or what could I do?
Yes.
That is more.
And so that takes a lot. And so what do you see, I would say, like in the next 5 years? What are some of the goals, of course, besides, running for judge and being in a judicial seat? What are some of the things you'd like to see happen for Morgan?
For Morgan?
For Morgan.
I would love for our kids in Ingham County to have a partnership with other children from different school districts within Ingham County, to have a more diverse experience, to have friends.
Yes.
I mean, to have my son, who's, in Meridian Township, be your son's buddy, virtual buddy.
Right.
And have that connection and community to further the DEI, the interaction.
Like virtual pen pals or
yes,
something?
like virtual pen pals. I would like, substance abuse to stop being so hidden and something that's not openly talked about.
Right. Right.
It took me a while to even say, my mom was a drug addict. My mom passed away in a drug home in Baltimore County, Maryland in 2008. It took a lot for me to even get there, but to realize that it's not a stigma and that there's so many people going through, similar circumstances that need to feel comfortable to talk about it.
And this is a real issue. This is a challenge for our communities, plural. This is one of those unspoken things that we have to be brave enough to share our experiences so others can be set free.
Absolutely. Right? While at the probate court currently, a great example would be with mental health cases. I noticed so much that we get these petitions for mental health, and then those with private insurance would be discharged and wouldn't have follow-up care.
Wow.
And so the concept, or what the thought process was then, is that CMH could only process people who, or handle people who were on Medicaid or Medicare, which meant a huge population of our residents were not having the appropriate mental health follow-up in order. And so
you're saying with private insurance, a lot of people could not receive the care that they needed in this immediate area.
Correct. Or have someone oversee the order, meaning CMH being the centralized area.
Yes.
I worked with CMH, Judge Garcia, Chief Judge Dunnings, Judge Sullivan, and Judge Byerly to create the mental health tri-county outreach.
Yes.
We were able to allocate funding and positions to CMH to get new staff to oversee private pay and accept private pay. And I think the statistics just for 1 year was almost at 90% compliance from the private pay individuals because they had direct oversight. And it was fantastic to have that, because that was also the highest rate of recidivism. You don't get treatment, they're going to be here again on a mental health order.
And this is key. And and just what just popped up in my head is rehabilitation versus punishment, right?
Unequivocally.
And so to see these programs start to grow and develop and become relevant of this time period is key. Like with me, I'm taking, I'm looking and I'm seeing the court transform, right? Getting COVID proof or COVID prepared, however you want to categorize that. And I see different programs, being tailored to some of the problems or some of the challenges we have today, right? They're relevant for today, and getting the backlog of cases worked on, having grant funding for those types of things. So I see it's moving. I see things are changing. What are some of the things that that you are, I would say, happy about as far as the changes in the judicial or the justice system in Ingham County? Some of those good changes.
Some of the great changes are specialty courts, from Veterans Court, Mental Health Court, Drug Court, Sobriety Court.
Yes.
Those are huge. The backlog of cases following COVID is starting to move. I think that having new changes in the court to focus on positive rather than negative
Yes.
has been huge. I mean, it's already a place that no one wants to be when they come in, right? No one is
Right.
excited to be at circuit court.
Right.
And so if we focus on the positive instead of just the negative, people feel more fulfilled in
Right.
the process that they're getting, the service they're getting as well.
And the thing that I am pleased about is to see the transforming of the justice system, where it's like technology, it's technically relevant, working towards being culturally relevant, right?
Yes. So that's I'm a huge proponent of people viewing and having the court be viewed as a service, not a place.
Okay.
Which means accessibility. It means having technology, readily available for those who can't travel or
Right.
those who, have
Like
hindrance.
Zoom court.
Yeah, well, having virtual hearings,
Yes.
virtual filings, etc. And so I'm actually a huge proponent of that. I am currently doing a huge tech project in probate court to further that. So, yes, the court is a service. It is not a place.
Yes. And with that being said, our time is growing near. But is there something you'd like to leave with the listeners before you go?
Well, I could leave many things. The most important is thank you. Thank you to everybody for this process. I will say that out of the candidates that are running for this position, no one has the judicial experience that I have. I currently have my own docket in probate. I hear cases.
Now, what's a docket for people who don't know?
Oh, so it's the cases assigned or hearings that you hold. Okay. So I deal with the mental health, they're called PRTs, but it's the initial mental health pickup order.
Okay.
And then I have my regular docket with review hearings, account hearings, guardianships of both adults and minors, conservatorships for both adults and minors. So I oversee that, plus I oversee the entire staff that I manage, which are all fantastic people.
Well, Morgan, I thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed our conversation, and I just want to thank our listeners for being here today. And as we chat a little bit about the justice system and Morgan running for this seat. We appreciate that. We appreciate you, Morgan. And we got to have you back, right?
Yes, and I would love that.
Yes. So if you want to get a hold of Morgan to ask her some questions, how can someone get hold of Miss Morgan Cole?
Oh, well, there's many ways. You could email me at morgancolefordjudge@gmail.com.
Okay.
You could send a message through Facebook to Morgan Cole for 30th Circuit Court Judge. You could come see me if you're real excited down at the probate court.
Make an appointment,
but on my breaks. So those are the main ways to get a hold of me. But if there's some other way, because individuals have difficult times, let us know. We'll get to you. We'll find you.
Thank you, Morgan. And thank you, everyone that is listening today. I want to thank you for being here and tuning in for this wonderful conversation with Miss Morgan Elizabeth Cole. She's running for Circuit Court Judge, 30th Circuit Court Judge within Ingham County. And with that being said, people, I am Giannis Jackson. I am your host of the Sunday Chronicle, heard every Sunday morning on Stax 92.1 FM. This is the platform for the community because community knows what community needs. Make it a great day.